What is up, survivors? We are back for another mod review. For today's mod review, we're still going over the catalog of mods that we currently have running in our community server on our PvE server. So if you are looking for a PvE server to play, why don't you jump right in our Discord and shoot us a message, and we'll make sure you get online. With that being said, today's mod review that we're going to go over. Oh, why my keyboard's not? Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry, boneheaded malfunction on my part. Typical procedure. We never have one of these go perfectly smooth, right? Today's mod review we're going over is the Dino Storage V2. Now, on the surface, I thought this mod was just Dino Storage type of thing. And while it does do that and does it very, very well, it actually does quite a lot of other things. So there's a few tools incorporated with this. There is a heck of a lot of features. We're not going to go over every single one of them, but we are going to go over the gist of what this guy does. To start it off, you're going to have a couple things that you're going to be able to craft on your inventory. It's going to be in... There's going to be a Dino Storage folder. You see that in there. You're going to have what looks to be a paintball gun. That is actually the soul gun. You're going to have the terminal. You're going to have these soul traps. And you're going to have a soul finder. And I picked the wrong map to do this on. Rains all the time in here. Anywho, so you're going to be able to build a soul terminal. Now, it doesn't need to be powered by anything. And while we are going to go over this, this is a fully customizable mod via the INI settings. And we'll have a link to the workshop page in the description of the video, so you guys can check that out. But so right away, you can actually change the appearance of this thing. So right now, this is more of a techie, futuristic sort of look, but we can actually check this in the options, and we'll go through what all these do. But you can actually change the mesh, so it would be more of a primitive mesh, more of a basic mesh, or a modern mesh. So it kind of fits everything, regardless of what sort of technology themey thing, or even if you're advancing through the tech or the normal structural things in typical Ark, you can kind of change this with it, so it matches. Anyway, this thing is essentially a storage device, and it'll hold 300 things. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff in here. We're going to tell you how it all works. But essentially, what this does is it kind of works like a cryo-fridge cryopod setup on steroids. All right, so what I have, essentially, two allos, male and female, because, I mean, we've been through this. When I get the option to spawn in allos, I spawn in allos. Now, these soul traps that you craft are essentially kind of like cryopods. They kind of work the same way. There's a lot more to it than that, but essentially the bare bones, the basics of this mod, that's pretty much what they do. They work as cryopods. So you can make them and cryopod them and toss them in here. Now, right away, it's already better than a normal cryo fridge because I don't need power, and I don't need to go to an obelisk or whatever to make them before I get a replicator. I don't. I can just make them, and I can throw them inside of here. And I also don't need a power. So you would store like normal. There are a couple of similarities. Obviously, they freeze. So when you put them in there, their level, their food, their mating interval number, all of those things are taken with it. And they're also what goes with it is things like saddles or skins or stuff like that's literally equipped onto the creature itself will pop in with it. So all that stuff saves. As well as, color options and all that good stuff. So everything that you essentially trap comes with it, with the exception of just random stuff in its inventory. Then, of course, it's going to drop that. Now, a couple benefits to this thing that are definitely far better than the cryo fridge, cryo storage. First and foremost, this thing can collect things that the creatures normally generate. As we see in here, I have Ocatinas that are creating paste, as well as organic polymer. I have a couple of other allo sources in here, just a couple other random dinos. Some are creating feces that just drop in there, and I also have dung beetles in here that are currently turning it into fertilizer as well. Getting oil generated from the dung beetle as well, and passively generating the normal eggs. A couple allosaurus eggs in here. I got some raptor eggs. I got a rex egg in here. Spino egg. These also, all that stuff, like anything poop related, whether it's feces or like if things normally poop out, sometimes the Ocatinas will poop out some the Ocatina paste that'll get picked up. Any of that stuff that normally just drops, or unfertilized eggs, it's going to pick all those up and stuff them in here. So that in and of itself is already better, but it does get a whole lot better. We can actually change a lot of this stuff. So again, if we tab out of this and go into the options automation, we can change all of what it picks up and how much of it catches, and it will actually distribute some of this out. So if we have it picking up owl pellets, we can have it distribute manually to gotchas, and also we can have it deliver our fertilizer straight to the crop plots. You can limit as far as how much poop these guys will actually hold, so that it doesn't fill up with just poop generation, and how much fruit, so it does cap out at certain things. And on this side of things, you can do a whole lot of things. So This will pick up fertilized eggs. It will incubate fertilized eggs. It'll pick up the regular eggs and any passive generation that animals have in their normal inventories when they just passively generate it, like the Acatinas do, or even like the dung beetles do when they produce oil as well as fertilizer. Any sort of the miscellaneous poop generation, which would be something like the owl pellets, poop generation. We're saying poop quite a lot here. I don't know how I feel about it. Whether or not the dung beetles will convert everything for you. You can have the iguanodon seed fruit. Sheep that you put in here, ovis that you put in here can generate wool, and you can put the queen bee in here and generate honey, so you don't need to make a beehive or mess with any of it. So it makes a lot of these day-to-day maintenance things super easy, and it kind of combines things that something like maybe SS or S Plus have to kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of that stuff. So to be able to hatch eggs, to be able to incubate eggs, collect dung beetles, collect fertilizer, distribute all that stuff out by itself, this thing is knocking it out of the park as far as quality of life goes. And it stopped raining, thankfully. So basically the way this works is, and we'll put these guys on enable mating real quick, just so you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so our allies are actually currently mating, and we'll have them just kind of go ahead and do their thing while we're still talking about stuff. So we have a couple different options as far as like cryopiding these guys, and you have these little soul traps that work that way. There's an admin mode to all this stuff, and I don't know if we'll go over all of it while we're here. There's quite a lot going on in this mod. But more importantly, you have this awesome gun. Now, if you're anybody like me and a huge fan of paintball, then you know exactly what this gun is. It even says it on the side of the gun, which I didn't think was actually allowed, but it's so damn accurate that I can't help but appreciate it. As a fellow paintballer, I can't help but notice. Oh man. Oh man. Brings back memories. Brings back memories for sure. But anyway, you can actually shoot the soul orbs instead of actually using them on your hands, which is super easy. The other cool thing about this gun, one of the cool things about this gun actually, is let's say you have a bag on the ground. As long as you have orbs in your inventory, you can actually just pick them up and put all that stuff in your inventory if it's on the ground, which is pretty cool. It doesn't seem to work very well with just like a thing. I think it's specifically just bags. Like if I throw a block of stone out there, it won't pick that up. But if I come out and drop everything down, bam, picks the whole thing up. Pretty cool. How close are you guys? Oh, that spoke too soon. All right, so that should stay there. Any minute now, we should see the fertilized egg get picked up by this dude. And it's kind of interval based if you're familiar with like the egg hatchery from S Plus or SS. It's kind of the same thing. So any minute now, this thing should get sucked up into there, and it should actually start incubating it as well. It doesn't seem to do it super fast, but again, this is fully custom INI, so you could definitely go through and change some of that stuff. Plus, also the incubation time of your egg hatching probably has something to do with it as well. And right before our eyes, poof, it's gone. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Where did it go? It's right here, and it's already incubated down to 1. The cool thing is I don't know if it's actually hot enough for this, if the temperature's right for this guy or not. We're gonna find out. No, it's too cold. Too cold. Cold, huh? Alright. Fix you. Put a couple torches down here. Mainly just to make a point. Wrong one. Not there. Got any spark powder? I love game creative mode. Alright. Turn that on. Still too cold. Got here. There we go. So, the Allosaurus is now hatched. And now hatched and growing up. So we're gonna grab it real quick. Now you can set the INI files for this thing to just auto grab it and pull the infant in. But let's say you're like, man, I need to get offline. I can't be here. I can't wait for this thing to grow up, or it's gonna be close to imprint. I'm not gonna have the food to imprint it with. I can soul trap it just like this. I can actually throw the baby in here. Now what it does is it freezes it at that exact point in time to include the time of imprint as well. So all of that is going to be frozen in time essentially. So they're not going to starve. None of that's going to happen, which makes it a lot easier if you have to sit here and maintain something like imprinting. If that's what you're worried about, you can do it when you're able to do it. You're not going to be forced to just sit around and wait and wait, wait and wait. And again, it gives you the full, all the stats of the creatures themselves, where they were actually tamed from. Everything is right here, whether or not they're ready to mate. And obviously they're blanked out. You can't actually mate them anyway. This is super, super, super useful. It's so it's really well organized, and they're actually color coded too. The orange is, you know, kind of like just a neutral, no gender, and then obviously the blue and pink for boy and girls. Man, we're just this thing does quite a lot, and we're only just kind of touching the we're only kind of scratching the surface. This thing does quite a lot, and it's hella useful. And as we say, we put the allosources that we just mated in there, and they actually have a couple. I think I have the mating thing turned up. Oh no, you don't. So it freezes here, tells us that it's ready in 31 seconds to actually mate again, or 31 minutes rather. But again, all this information is right in front of you. Super cool. You can destroy the souls in the terminal, because these are technically souls, not cryopods, and through admin settings you can actually recover them as well. You also have this cool little search inventory, which is a bit more customizable as far as search engine goes. Sort of searching in there. It might not seem like it's a lot right now because it's only a couple of these in here, but if you were to fill one of these up with creatures, it would make it super easier to actually find stuff. You can actually change this to be private or public so that other people can access it, which makes it really cool for offline trading in between tribes and stuff like that. Like I can have one of these like outside unlocked with public enabled, and you know, say, hey, Joe Schmo, I got an RG inside of this thing for you, come get it, and they can just come get it. You don't need to be online for it, which is pretty nice. The passive generation of all this stuff means that you don't have to sit here and feed these things veggie cakes, you know, for the Alcatinos. I'm assuming if you're running PC, you're probably running like Kraken's Better Dinos or something where these guys eat berries, but you don't have to feed any of this stuff. They just make it. It just happens. Just happens, and I love it. You can even change all of the text in here. Pretty interesting concept as well. But all of your auto animation, you can set your newborn auto trap to have it actually pick up the newborns immediately right after they're not there. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's not actually an admin setting. That's a setting on the soul terminal itself. So you can set that up to just pick them up immediately as soon as they have. Collision can turn on and off. The normal inventory, I think that's an admin setting. That's an INI setting I don't have set. But to be honest, you can get as complex with this thing as you really want, or as laid back as you really want. But honestly, just with stock default settings, what I put it on here with, this thing is an amazing addition to just about anything you could really think of. I don't see a point where this is a bad thing. Not only is the automation side of things done for you and really helping you out, where it's really cool and really nice is the idea that you can have a huge dino collection on a server, and you're not hurting the server resources at all. Because we're not, see, if you want to have 50 wyverns out in your front yard, but it's hogging memory up, rendering near your base and stuff like that, you can pot them all up and throw them all in here, and they still get passive XP, they still get everything. But yeah, fully customizable. And definitely check out the workshop link as to, there is a guide on there as far as setting all the different INI options, which there are a lot for something like this. You have the options to, it won't actually lose your imprint settings. So if you have imprint stats, they're not going to go away. You're not going to lose anything by any of this. And it keeps track of everything, passive XP, and it's just a bit more organized. So it's kind of like a cryopod meets hatchery meets nanny meets, I don't know, several other things all at one time, I feel like. But this is another QOL mod that I actually had seen, but I hadn't really messed with. And sometimes, you know, my thing with mod creators sometimes is that you guys make some amazing stuff. And when I read the description of the title of the mod and it says Dino Storage, I'm like, oh, okay, it stores dinos. No, this thing does like a million other things other than just storing dinos. Sell yourself short. This thing is an awesome mod. I love it. And honestly, it's definitely going on the list of those things of must-have sort of quality of life mods that just make everybody's life easier. But that's it, guys. That's the Dino Storage V2 mod. If you like the mod, definitely check out the link to the description. That'll throw you to the workshop so you can do a bit more further research. We didn't actually hit every single topic about it, but there's plenty more in there, and it's a very self-explanatory and very informative and very helpful. This mod stacks really well with just about anything out there that I've seen, and it's not very big either. But if you like the video, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell so you can see when the next videos are coming out. And feel free to follow me here, follow me on Twitter, and also check out our Discord because we stream from here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. If you're looking for an art community server, definitely check out our Discord and you can get in and play with us. As always, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time.